are as powerful as love, as loud. Poison is yet beautiful. Love, love.
Welcome back, everybody, to ulti.TV's coverage of London Invite 2023, and in particular, the women's showcase game for this evening. The the two under-24 teams, one from GB, one from Australia, who are here at this tournament, taking to the fields in preparation for the World Championships coming up next weekend in Nottingham. But my name is Lou Burgess. I'm joined on the mic by Pat Thorpe from Australia. How's it going today, Pat? How are you?
Thanks, Luke. Doing very well, thank you. Really excited to be here tonight.
As we see the teams taking to the field, it's almost like it's a professional sport or something. We'll have to see it. I believe it's the first time this season that this GB under-24 women's team has been streamed. Is that the same for the Aussies?
Good question. I think this is the first time they've probably been streamed in a tournament match. They've played a tournament locally in Australia back in April, but I don't think there was any proper streaming of that one. So this will be a really exciting one for the players to wear their full Australia kit and get a chance to play against another under-24s team in the lead up to the tournament next weekend.
Yeah, really big deal for both of these teams. As good preparation as you can possibly get for the World Championships next weekend without it literally being an all-24 U24 tournament. But both these teams have been fighting hard today. The GB U24 team losing to GB senior team, I believe. I forget what the score is for that. And also losing to Yaka pretty comfortably earlier today. The Australian U24 team had a loss to Yaka first game of the day, 11-9 I believe that one was, and then a universe point win over the GB senior team. Absolutely fantastic result for them. Really hard fought game. So lots of potential for this game to be really fiery one, as I'm sure both these teams are incredibly motivated. So Pat, you've been coaching the Australian U24 mixed team?
Yes, correct. Yeah, the Blue Bottles, as we're better known back home.
Yeah, I love the animal names for all the Australian teams. I always forget which is which, but when you come to a tournament like this and have to commentate GB seniors versus GB masters, it kind of helps to have animal names to refer to. We were discussing that on stream earlier. Yeah, this particular Australian team, the Stingrays, would have liked to see that in the scoreboard. Would have been quite fun, but GB versus Australia it is. GB to start on offense. I was just doubting myself about GB starting offense there, but you know, Australia do have the disc. I'm sure nerves are running high. Both these teams playing in front of a crowd, playing on stream, playing against a fellow under-24 team. Now, if you are watching from Australia, do let us know in the chat. Heroic effort from you if you're watching live. It's like 4:30 in the morning or something silly over there. Not sure why the schedule was made so the Australians couldn't really watch live, but big opening pull right in the back of the end zone. Connie Lynch picks it up for GB. They find themselves on the front cone. Lots of pressure being put on by Stingrays. GB having to run hard in this reset space. But Alcock near side, collected by Kemp. Hill finds Mason. And a big lead pass to the end zone. Floats to the back corner, and Katie Trim is there to bring it in. Perhaps not the intended receiver, but a point is a point, and GB holds without turning over to open up the game.
Force flick from the Australians there. The GB couldn't get it back to the centre, but they were able to grind down the sideline the whole time. So We'll see if the Aussies can prevent those easy unders coming out for the rest of this game.
Nicely weighted pass to the back corner. So GB being tested at the start of this game, but no turnovers so far. Nicely done. So of course both these teams will be at the U24 Championships starting next weekend. What do we have in store for the Australians in the pool stage?
So the Aussies have got a pretty tough pool to start off with. Seeded 9th, they're in with USA, Canada, Germany, Ireland, New Zealand and China. So 14 teams all up, 2 pools of 7. This is a potential quarterfinal matchup or a crossover matchup that we could be seeing in the later stages of the tournament.
Well, this is good practice for both teams to start, as GB are gifted the disc. The Australian throw went a little bit wide, was caught on the sideline. Let's see if they can punch it in. Rosie Lynch with the disc for GB in the middle. Has to go backwards. Jessie Liu. Plummer, up line to Lynch. Pops it into the end zone to absolutely nobody. Good defensive pressure from Stingrays. Earns them the disc back. And a second attempt to put in this hold. Della now with the disc has been excellent in the handler space for Stingrays so far today. Played a pivotal role in their win over the GB senior team, but a point block from Eva Kai. Wins the disc back for GB. Phoebe Teo to pick up the disc for GB. Singaporean import. Plays her club ultimate for SICK and her university ultimate at UCL. Plumbing out. Centers to Stewart. Far side to Rodriguez. And just a stone cold drop on the far side from Eva Kai. Perhaps affected by the Australian defensive pressure. Because Tang goes infield to Madua, but another just stone cold drop. Neither team able to string enough passes together at this point. Still can't rises.
Great pressure.
It's both teams are switched on defense. The offense isn't quite popping. Richards Tang to the end zone for the score. And Jilla Pigeon with the goal for the Stingrays. And after all that, it is a hold for Australia. 1 apiece. Such a nice throw to find Richards Tang in space. Converts the score as well. It's a bit of a grindy point. I think the confidence is definitely with this GB O-line. Stingrays have some work to do to clean that up, but they've gone through some tests today. Close game all the way against GB seniors earlier today. They went up a few breaks early, but then GB brought it back. The GB took half 8-7. And it was close all the way to the end until Universe point. So decent pull from Stingrays. Coming down with match defense once again. They were really close to a block on their first defensive point, but GB worked it down the sideline. Doing the same again. Mason looking upfield. Finds another upline shot to Harris. Harms even. Moville. Looking for something. Still counts rising. Just about. Find something up the line. GB playing in 1 yard of width so far. And that's all they need. Open passes up the sideline the whole way. And Australia's defense was stifling, but not quite stifling enough.
Australia doing a good job so far to hold the disc on the far side of the field, but GB's managing to grind it down the whole way.
Yeah, tenacious cutting downfield from GB to just own that slither of space on this sideline, make it theirs. Evie Harms with the score. So some discussion happening on the sideline for Stingrays about how to deal with this marching up the line from GB. GB put in both thorough points without turning over so far. Impressive stuff. GB's D-line managed to cause multiple turnovers against the Stingrays O-line last time, so they'll be looking to do the same again, but this time punch in one of those break opportunities, I'm sure. So match defense from GB as well. Very standard stuff so far. Della directing traffic downfield, but has to swing to O'Connor. Back to Della, back to O'Connor. Far side to Carpenter. O'Connor and Carpenter just working it between themselves. Very high disc, but what a play from Maduya. Brings the disc down. And Stingrays continue to swing around the back. Carpenter puts up a high one, but it's not quite good enough for Della to bring down. Rosalind Lynch with the block for GB. So we get another look at this fantastic grab. What do you make of this, Pat?
Oh, it's a fantastic turnaround from Sai. She's really well known in Australia for her ability to attack the disc in any position, and she's going to have a great opportunity to show it not just tonight, but all of under-24s.
Yeah, she was excellent for Stingrays against the GB senior team, and she gets a block there. And pops it into the end zone. Lucy Della with the score for Stingrays. And they maintain the serve. No breaks yet. But GB managing to walk in their 0 points cleanly, whilst Stingrays not able to string together a perfect offensive point just yet. Well weighted. Little forehand lead pass into the end zone. Trickier than it looks, that throw. Slightly upwind as well. So Pat, for our viewers who are perhaps less familiar with the Australian Ultimate community, what kind of club teams do we have represented?
We've got a really big mix on the Stingrays. We've got players from all states apart from Adelaide, from South Australia and from the Northern Territory. So on the line, we've got Tasmania, Melbourne, Queensland, Melbourne, and Sydney. So combination of clubs including Ellipsis, Chile, Fuse, and Rogue.
Good mix of clubs. Always love to see that in national teams. Bringing together players from all over the country. Similar story for GB actually. Lots of club teams represented. We'll talk more about that later. As there is a call on this play. Evie Harms feeling some contact. I believe that's Julie Chong for Stingrays who got underneath this.
Yeah, Julie just looked to get the body in early. All players are running. It's a hard one.
Yeah, pretty indecisive from our angle. But it looks like the players have come to a resolution, although just a little confused as to why Harms doesn't have the disc in her hands. Or perhaps they're... There we go. Okay.
Uncontested.
I'm not seeing things. It was a uncontested defensive receiving foul. So Evie Harms with the disc with GB goes backwards. Katie Melvin. Connie Lynch. Upfield to Melvin. Nice. Nicely weighted lead pass. Shoots to the end zone. And a fantastic score. Katie Trim gets herself free at the back of the end zone. And it's another hold for GB. Without a turnover once again. It was close, but 3 for 3. No turnovers.
Yeah, the closest the Stingrays have been able to get to a turnover, but once the GB women's got on that 4 side, they were just able to link up passes one after another.
Some really good throwing skills on display from that point. Multiple perfectly weighted forehand lead passes. Conditions are essentially perfect for playing Ultimate. It's a very, very light breeze, but nothing that will affect throwers of this caliber.
From all reports, Nottingham not quite as kind as this weather-wise. It's going to be very interesting to see during the tournament how windy it actually gets. There's lots of rumours of fields being called the Wind Farm.
Yeah, the tournament that we run in Nottingham every year, the big national UK Ultimate tournament, is called Wind Farm, not to be confused with Windmill in Amsterdam. Nottingham Wind Farm. Very expansive, open venue, as I'm sure you will all see on the U24 streams next week. It will be interesting to see which teams can adjust to those conditions, especially teams that come from countries with very little wind. But Stingrays working it very nicely around the back against this GB defense, but the disc just bounces out of the hands of Angela Pigeon. That is not what Stingrays needed. Huge opportunity now for GB to get a break on the board. So juking in space, but can't get free. GB opt to shoot deep instead. And the disc just goes over the head of Rosalind Lynch.
Great dump defense there, forced a risky long shot.
So Stingrays underway once again. Moving the disc around the back. But there's a nice up line to Angela Pigeon. Reels this one in. Maduioa goes back to Della. Richards Tang. Della. Pigeon. Back to Della. Not quite in the end zone, but they're pretty close. O'Connor goes over the top. But Meduia can't bring that one in. Uncharacteristic drop under pressure from her. So GB having to work the full length of the pitch. And I must say, from the way this game's gone so far, I do back Stingrays to get another block. Their defense was stifling. GB unleashed the deep shot. Hanging beautifully, and Phoebe Teo runs it down, no problem. What a response that is from GB U24. They draw first blood, get the first break of the game. So just as I say, I back them to get a block, they don't. Typical. Thanks for that, Stingrays. What a throw that was from Jessie Liu. Good cut from Phoebe Teo. Had the pleasure of coaching her at UCL university team the last couple of years, where she's been the women's captain. They won the University Nationals bronze medal this year at the same Nottingham venue that U24s will be played at. All the players in this GB team very familiar with that venue. So there is pretty real home field advantage, I think, for this particular championships. So in Australia, have the teams had much opportunity to play in high wind conditions, or has it been very calm at trainings? Lately,
it has been quite calm. Both the Stingrays and my team, the Blue Bottles, have been training in Sydney in May and June, and we've been having some perfect weekends for Ultimate. 20 degrees, no rain, no wind. So
it's unfortunate we won't have that, World.
Yes.
Big deep shot from Stingrays. Receiver wide open in the end zone.
Great grab from Kat Bucks, the 17-year-old from Melbourne. Youngest player in the Stingrays outfit.
Yeah, huge grab under pressure. That's some confidence building stuff. What a response from Stingrays after getting broken. They come out, punch one straight in style.
Melbourne to Melbourne connection. Panya Preston from Ellipsis through to Kat Buxer from Chile.
Okay, it looked like she was wide open, but there was actually some pressure coming from this near side. My view was blocked, unfortunately, but there we are. So I have to say, Stingrays were definitely favoured coming into this matchup after the results we've seen today, taking out the GB senior team on Universe. Massive result for them. But you can never underestimate the power of just sheer passion and drive in moments like this. Probably the biggest game of many of these players' careers for GB. Presumably for Stingrays as well.
Definitely, there's a big range of experience on the Stingrays. Some of this is their second or third time playing under 24s. Some of them played World Clubs last year with Ellipsis and Lunchbox, and there are a fair few on the team, but this is their first national representative opportunity.
Yeah, so big stage, and young players excited to be on it. Hoping to see them all step up, play their best ultimate for the fans, for the stream. Oh, what a catch that is in the second effort from Katie Trim. Goes far side to Symington. Up line to Orcock. And a pop into the end zone. Emily Hill with the score. Nicely done from GB, holding their offense without any turnovers once again. Really nice little line cut to get free in front of the end zone.
You can see the Australian Blue Bottles on screen here to support the Australian Stingrays.
So all three Australia teams in the UK already, or are the Open team coming a bit later?
The Open team, the Guyanas, they're starting their pre-tour week in France. So they've got some scrimmages against teams like Is No Good, and then they're heading up to Belgium to play Gentle and Jet Set, I believe. Fantastic. And then they'll be heading across to Nottingham just before the tournament starts. And the Stingrays will be, after this tournament, heading across to France, where they'll be spending a week doing some training over there and doing some team bonding in the lead up to the tournament, which is going to be really exciting for them.
Well, that sounds like an excellent week of preparation ahead. All three rosters. Good to see them making a real trip of it, real experience, not just coming for the main championships. But Stingrays have eaten up the yards on this possession. But that defensive effort from Alex Numa will be in vain, as the foul was called and accepted. A bit too eager to restart play. So reset to Della. Finds Pigeon. Goes back to Della in the middle. High disc. Just slightly too high for Richard Tang. So let's see what GB can do on this possession. Nice forehand give go. Stewart looking up this near side. And once again, GB just marching down this near sideline. Working around the back. Rosalind Lynch shoots to the end zone, but too far out the back. Ho can't bring it in. We have ourselves a bit of a grindy point. Both teams running hard. Not quite able to execute all the way into the end zone. So Chong with the disc. Goes to Meduia. Pigeon. Attacking the disc on that far side. Looks off the up line and swings infield instead. Carpenter. Upfield, shot to the end zone now. And once again, also too far. Both teams overshooting in the red zone.
Wind starting to pick up here, heading back towards the stadium. Could add a little bit of extra chaos into these next few points.
And the timeout signal is being made. Unfortunately, Rosalind, you do have to bring it to the line before you can call timeout. Because it did go out the back. So, long grindy point. The players will take a rest. And as they do that, so we don't go anywhere. We'll be back after these messages.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Welcome back to ulti.TV's coverage of London Invite 2023. Women's Division showcase match here between Stingrays from Australia and the GB U24 team as both sides prepare for their World Championship campaign starting here in the UK in Nottingham next weekend. Lou Burgess alongside Pat Thorpe for this match. This point has been going on for a while. Both teams having multiple good opportunities to put the point away, but overthrowing in the end zone. With GB in possession, looking to extend their lead.
Wind has definitely picked up over the last couple of points, going cross field towards the stadium. As the sun's setting, you'll be able to see on your screen, looking left, it's going to be getting more and more difficult as the sun gets lower, heading that way as the sun's in the eyes. Looks like the Stingrays might be coming out in some sort of zone-y structure.
Yeah, they played this zone against the GB senior team earlier today with a reasonable amount of success against a fearsome handler line on that GB senior team. So let's see if the GB U24 team could deal with it. They did have some struggles against Yaka's zone in a match against them earlier. An immediate high stall situation. Disc is floating. Lots of defensive pressure underneath it, but a foul is called. Lucy Della getting right on top of Becca Hardman-Carter.
That's the shot that the Stingrays are trying to force, trying to throw something into the wind to give Lucy Della a chance at a one-on-one.
So I don't think it's that clear cut. There was a lot of contact. Della went up quite early and sort of landed on Carter a little bit. Let's have another look. Get your thoughts in the chat. Della's arms are longer.
Neither player was set in that contest. To me, I don't think I can understand why a foul was called, but I think that's just a contest for the disc. Neither player was set in a position. And it is contested. It's going back.
Okay. Well, not an unreasonable outcome. Still count's pretty high.
Yeah.
So GB are going to have to find something quick on this reset.
It's in the position the Stingrays want, on the sideline, high stall count. That's what the zone's going to be designed to force. So I don't think the Stingrays will be too upset with the opportunity to go for another block opportunity here.
Yeah, very aggressive zoned. One chase and then 3 players in a wall. So there's lots and lots of space on top, like behind that wall. But getting the disc there is another question. Another deep shot from GB, and Della brings this one down. No problem. No issues this time. And Stingrays are off to the races. Chong with the disc. Almost the big layout save. The Stingrays will have to go again. They do not set up the zone this time. Just go for match defense. Rosalind Lynch. Upfield, but bounces out of the hands of Alex Neoma.
Stingrays very quick to bring the disc back into play on any turnover so far this game.
Yeah, you love to see it. Get the disc moving before the defense can set. Della with the disc. Finds O'Connor. Back to Della.
Ellipsis to ellipsis connection coming off here.
Oh, nice high release backhand break. And O'Connor shoots to the end zone, but it's too far. I think Angela Pigeon was the target, but it's yet another overthrow in the end zone.
Looks like they're setting the zone again.
It's a slightly slower turnover, so makes sense. This time forcing towards the stands. Neoma has to go back to Lynch. High disc floating up, and of course, Della comes down with it. The zone doing exactly what it's designed to do. But can Stingrays convert? Yes, they can. Julie Chong with the score. And that's the Blue Bottles, right? Going wild on the sidelines. Forgetting my Aussie animals for a second there.
You can see Lucy Della with the dish, just trying to control the play. Lucy's one of the captains of the team. Eventually finds Julie Chong, one of her ellipsis teammates from back home, striking up the line for the goal. Both played world clubs together last year with ellipsis, got all the way to the bronze medal match. So both of them have got a lot of experience, and Lucy will be featuring in the Firetails, the Australian senior women's team of the Asia Oceanic Championships, alongside Zoe O'Connor and Panya Preston in September this year in the Philippines.
Right, exciting stuff. Some decorated individuals on this U24 team. Lots of airplanes flying overhead today. We are not far from Heathrow Airport. So the stream of planes flying overhead is pretty constant. High floaty pull. And the defense is down there as it's caught. Connie Lynch with the disc for GB. Floating it up into space. And Stingrays get the block. Lisa Trott. Not sure what this discussion's about.
I think it was a kick call that somebody stopped.
Well, it was retracted, whatever it was. Osmond goes across the needle. That shot to the middle is batted to the ground. GB get the disc back. Orcock goes to Lynch on the far side. GB just working around the back. Shot upfield to Kemp. Back to Hill. Lynch. But an overthrow once again to Hill.
The wind making it more and more difficult. The longer you're stuck down that far side of the field, the harder it's going to be to get back across here.
So, Stingrays with another chance. Get a break back. Carter looks off the deep shot. Big around backhand break. Let's find the receiver wide open in space. And Landon goes back. Stingrays just working it between the whole team right now. GB putting on pressure on defense, as you can see there, but Stingrays are up to the task. Osmond. Finds Cho on this side. Shoots to the end zone. It's high, it's floaty. And Connie Lynch brings it down for GB. Stingrays are right there on defense. Their heads are not down. They want this point. They're willing to work for it. Lynch with the disc once again. But a run-through block from Preston, was that? No.
No, Chua.
Front. And a shot to the end zone immediately. Might get called back for a call. Yeah, at least a try with the run-through block. But number 8 looks suspiciously like a number 6 on the far side of the pitch for me there, but so it looks like an out call. But it is called in, and number 77, Thea Osmond, is credited with a goal.
Thea is a true second-generation Ultimate player. Both her parents were Australian representatives. And Holly Reeve, one of the assistant coaches, was saying before that she remembers seeing a very young Thea running around the sideline, so it's very, very special to have her be able to represent Australia out here now.
What a legacy to live up to. So despite going down a break early, Stingrays have clawed themselves back. Score is 5 apiece. So glad to see a nice close game between these teams. This is really what we're all here for. A long pull from Stingrays. It's going to land in the back of the end zone and not roll out the back.
Perfect.
A 10 out of 10 pull. And defense is right down there. GB struggling to gain any ground. And Stingrays do get the block. Just a few yards left to go. Preston with the disc. Actually this time, I'm not seeing things. Chong directing traffic upfield. Has to come back though. And that shot to this near side is too far. Disc sitting up in the wind a little bit perhaps.
Hannah Shears from Tasmania not able to toe the line and bring the disc back into play, but the Stingrays are showing some really strong dump defense and forcing some risky options from GB, so hopefully they can put the pressure on again and get it back.
Well, GB looked very stressed on their own end zone line in that last possession, and they do again, but fantastic catch from Emily Hill. Brings it down, keeps the offense moving. Melville goes far sides to Harms. Lynch somehow finds the swing despite the defensive pressure from Shabin. It's a clapcatch drop from Melville. The defensive pressure from Stingrays is really ramping up. Simple catches are no longer simple. So Preston centers to Chong. Up line to Preston. Good movement in the handler space to gain some ground. Nice layout grab for Chong to save possession. Stingrays shooting to the end zone. Not quite in. On the front corner for Kara. And there's the upline cut from Preston. Taking over that point. Putting the team on her back. And putting Australia ahead for the first time this game.
Another ellipsis to ellipsis connection. Cara to Preston for the goal as GB is calling a timeout.
Yeah, GB needs to do something to stem the bleeding. So we get another look at some of the big plays from that point. Chong with the save. And Preston finding the receiver to gain all of the yards up to the end zone line and then busting it into the end zone herself for the score. Great hustle that point from her. So as the players take a timeout, we will also have a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
I love working with a team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something for people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 And we are back. ulti.TV's coverage of London Invite 2023. The women's division showcase match this evening between the Australian Stingrays and their British counterparts without the funky animal name. If you have any ideas for what we should call the GB names, some British wildlife names, drop them in the chat. Had the suggestion of grasshoppers earlier. Topical, considering we are at the Grasshoppers RFC venue for the weekend. So the momentum is well and truly with Stingrays at this stage of the game. They just broke to go up 1 point. Now GB need a response. Tight defense in the handler space from the Australians. GB having to work extremely hard every disc.
One of the first big layouts we've seen this game, but again the wind pushing the disc further along down that far sideline.
The Stingrays give it right back. Della can't quite reel in the centering pass. So GB get gifted with a short field. Let's see if they can convert. Important point for them to keep it even in this match. But they cannot. Throw straight to Della. Stingrays get a chance to set up their offense properly. Much more composed on this possession. Della finds Shaban on the far side. Zippy forehand to try it in the midfield. Della. Shears. Upline to Della, nicely weighted backhand lead pass, and another one into the end zone for the score. Nicely, nicely done. Cool, calm, collected offense from the Australians, and they get themselves a 2-point lead.
Again, just another point with great Stingrays defense. Isolating a player, GB isolating a player at the front of the end zone. They weren't able to find the matchup. Lucy Della able to get the block and then run it down the other end to score the goal. Hitting Shelby Thompson from Fuse.
It's one of the easiest goals she will ever score in her life. Thanks in large part to the great effort that her teammates did earlier in that point to just keep the disc flowing down that sideline. Taking a leaf from the GB playbook from earlier in the game where they were just jamming it down the line, although it did look like Stingrays had much more space to work with than GB had. Finally starting to cement their dominance in this game.
The crosswind is definitely not going away. We've seen a few throws on the far side of the field be really affected by it. Both teams have really got to try and get it onto the close side to the camera, where they're going to have a bit more ability to use the disc going the other way. The more they're trapped down that far sideline, the harder it's going to be for their offenses.
Yeah, we've already seen a few swing passes go awry from the far side towards the middle. Made all the more harder by these increased wind.
Thea Osman from Wollongong with the pull.
Looked like she was ready to throw that a long time ago. GB taking their time to get set up on offense. Cho fields the pull. Throws the centering pass. Immediate deep shot is somehow kept up. Della not able to complete the block. And we've said it before, we'll say it again, you have to catch your blocks. GB maintain possession and they are fired up. Rodriguez goes backwards. Tio evades the defensive pressure and pops the disc into the end zone. What a point for GB.
Very unfortunate one for Lucy Della. Got 3 touches on the disc to keep it alive, and the GB player was able to react so well, be able to get both hands around it, and now continue up this near side.
Let's have another look. One, two. Can't quite get the third. That would have done the job. Amazing focus from Zaska Kemp to rescue possession. Good focus from Tio. And a comfortable pass into the end zone. Nicely done. Jesse Liu with the score.
Stingers us with a chance to hold this offense, to bring it to halftime.
Taking half would be a big deal for GB, for Stingrays even. They did start on defense at the start of this game, so getting to start the second half on offense, up by 2 points. Be a very comfortable position for them, but GB have other plans, I'm sure. They want to take it to Galaxy Point. We all want to see Galaxy Point.
Well, not all of us.
Yeah, I have no skin in this game. I just want to see good frisbee. Oh, huge layout block attempt. The Stingrays maintain possession for all of 2 seconds as Carpenter throws the disc away.
There's definitely a lot more energy in this game now that there's been a few big points. Both sidelines getting really engaged.
That last point from GB really fired them up. You could just hear the volume on the sideline increase.
Travel called on the restart.
Yeah, GB are excited now. They know this is the moment. They can take half. Another attempted block. This time, Stingrays do come down with the disc. They do punch it into the end zone. And they do take half 8-6. Fantastic performance from the O-line to get the disc back and maintain their lead in this game.
After the initial throwaway for Raya Carpenter to have the composure to get that first hands on the disc, and then Angela Pigeon to clean up the block, finish off with a really strong goal. Great way for the Australians to enter half.
A fantastic defensive effort from both players.
Raya originally from Perth. Twin sister Shannon is captain, one of the captains of the Blue Bottles, the mixed under-24 team. So you'll hopefully be able to see some of Shannon play next weekend as well for the mixed Australian squad.
Well, we look forward to that. But the players will take a half-time. Stingrays lead 8-6. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ulti.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I will arise and go soon to the Isle of Emerald Green, and watch my mighty heroes go to battle on the screen. Where the ocean kisses Ireland, Shannon's tears of joy flow. That lovely Lady Limerick invites us to the show. From mighty glens and rugged hills, bays and braes raise a sláinte. Ganairi an bóthar leat, agus céad míle fáilte.
Women's Division Showcase action here at London Invite 2023, brought to you, as always, by ulti.TV. Second edition of this tournament. Last year's edition was dominated by World Ultimate Club Championships preparation storylines. This year, it's all about the national teams. As we see our lovely co-commentator Hannah Penderbury running across the pitch. Yeah, this year dominated by EUC and U24 prep, and we are absolutely thrilled to have this matchup between these two U24 women's teams. Lou Burgess here on the mic with, I've forgotten your second name, Pat Thorpe. Pat Thorpe, that's the one. We did only meet about half an hour ago. As we take a look at some of the highlights from this first half. Stingrays having a fantastic game so far. They've come down with almost all of the big contested shots, as they were against the GB senior team earlier today in that Universe Point win. Probably the highlight of the game so far is this catch right here. Unbelievable focus to reel that in. And even though that catch seemed to fire up the GBU24 women's side, it wasn't quite enough for them to convert it into a Galaxy point situation. And we see there the score for Stingrays to bring the score to 8-6. And Stingrays will also be coming out on offense to start the second half, so very comfortable position for them to be in. They can just casually trade out the game, no problem, whilst the GB's D-line needs to come up with the goods. Lots of Ultimate still to be played in this match. And of course, a quick reminder of the format. In the women's division, there are 5 teams. There's a round robin. So all the teams will play each other, and then we'll have a final tomorrow afternoon. But now the second half is underway. Chong fielding the disc for the Australians. They work it nicely on the unders. Good tempo so far, just keeping this moving. Big hammer into the front corner. Lucy Della, what a throw. What a way to start the second half.
The Dellas back home, both Tom and Lucy, are very well known for their top arm ability. Tom being one of the Melbourne Juggernaut players. Lucy started her Frisbee career in the women's with Melbourne Phoenix and now plays with Ellipsis. Both very accomplished throwers, particularly in some more difficult technical throws like hammers and scubas.
And I have to say, you love to see it when an Australian national team is throwing hammers. I'm sure you know the story.
Very, very much so. My first year of playing, so I was hooked on watching that Worlds, and yeah, there's been a lot of stories about that one.
If you don't know the story of the hammer, you can head over to the Hive Ultimate YouTube channel, where we have a video titled something like "The Throw That Changed Australian Ultimate History." Half an hour mini doc about that one throw.
Seeing Julie Chong on screen. Julie's very much a Stingrays legacy player. Played in the 2019 Stingrays in Heidelberg, but in a really special way played with both of her sisters, Steph and Tracy Chong. So I have all three sisters play on the Stingrays in 2019. So the Stingrays definitely are very much a legacy club for the Chongs, and Steph in particular, who's played a lot of her Frisbee in the open division with the Geelong Mudlarks, had a lot of success. It's fantastic to have Julie be able to come back in what is her final chance to play under 24s.
And Osmond once again with a phenomenal pull for the Stingrays, pinning GB in their own end zone. They do work it out. Looking for options in the middle. They're managing to work it up. Alcock with the disc now for GB. Pops it high over the top to Emily Hill.
Transition to match.
Symington. Alcock again. Hill. Up line to Symington. Just a few meters away from the end zone now. Pops the disc into the end zone for the score. And that is some confidence building offense from the GB U24 side.
Another good example of the GB women's just able to grind it on the one side of the field the whole length. Australian women doing a really good job again of shutting down the lateral dump movement, but haven't been able to stifle the downfield movement into the open side too readily just yet.
Yeah, Tilly Mason with the score for GB, getting free on that sideline space. It will be all too easy for the GB coaches to be constantly screaming at their players to try and center the disc. But the fact of the matter is, jamming it down the sideline is working for them. And if it's working, why change it?
Wind seems to be dying down a little bit. We'll see if this changes any of the defense or the offensive plays, or even just how clean some of the offense is being played for the rest of the game.
Well, it's been 2 clean holds to start the second half. Stingrays will be looking to make that a third. Lucy Della with the disc for the Stingrays. Centers to Chong. Both players having a fantastic game, but Chong throws That disc a little bit too high for Pigeon. And GB with a chance for a break back. They immediately throw it away. Della picks up. Finds Thompson. Looking for something in the end zone, but has to go back to Carpenter instead. Della floats the disc into the end zone. And Angela Pigeon catches it for the score. So not a clean hold, but a hold nonetheless. And Stingrays maintain the advantage. So another look at this GB turnover. Not sure what happened there, just a stone cold drop it seems.
There have been a few just catching errors this game. Something that both teams definitely want to iron out those creases before starting the under-24 tournament next weekend.
Yeah, particularly in those early stages of a week-long tournament, it's important to get the confidence in the team, get the belief that yes, they can complete passes, they can work it down the pitch.
And with the pools that particularly the Stingrays have, every game's going to be really important to make sure you get the right crossover. And same with Great Britain, potentially having a crossover against teams like Canada or USA or Australia again. It's going to be really important early on to secure the wins that you can, to give yourself the best crossover opportunities late in the tournament.
Yeah, these tournament formats can be pretty brutal, and if you drop one game you shouldn't, suddenly medal hopes are out the window. But we are well into the second half now, and GB need to do everything they can to not let Australia run away with this. It all starts with this hold. They're being forced back though. This is excellent defense from Stingrays. No easy throws available. Has to go wide to the far side, but GB maintain possession. Big shot into the center of the field. Is brought down by Katie Trim. Dumps it back. Connie Lynch now. Goes upfield and finds Kemp. GB looking a little bit tired. They've been running hard. Melville goes back to Lynch. Shot to the end zone. It's high, it's floating. And it can't be brought down by either player in the end zone.
Julie Chong in there to put the pressure on that floaty pass. GB unfortunate not to be able to clean up on that layout attempt.
Yeah, too high for Harms, and Trim not able to get low enough in time. So a big break opportunity now for Australia. Laser through the field, slicing open the defense. Carter collecting that one. The Stingrays continues to work around the back. There's another hammer to the end zone. That one is too far though. Inspired by Della's earlier throw, but not quite able to execute to the same level. Another look at this. Brilliant throw through the middle of the pitch. Really opening up the field. So Emily Hill with the disc for GB. Melville. As GB after trying to work it down the sideline once again. This time the throw is too far for Melville. Shavin picks up. Chong now on the far side. Centers to Preston. She is. Into the end zone. But turns out Katie Trim is pretty tall. And comes down with that one.
Third turnover for the point. All players starting to look like the fatigue's hitting them.
It's one of the few times that Stingrays haven't come down with those high discs. GB have a long field to go. Not managing it once again.
A few gusts of wind appearing.
Time is over.
Another overthrow into the end zone as we hear that time is over the tannoy. So after the end of this point, we will add one to the highest score and play to that. Oh, that's pretty close.
It's a game to 11 or 12, depending on who scores here.
So GB really need to punch this one in to try and keep the gap as close as possible. Connie Lynch looking for something downfield. Chooses to unleash the cannon to the end zone. It's floating high, but Katie Trim boxes out well, brings the disc down, and it will be a game to 11.
Great contest by Kat Buxer, but the older GB player able to get prime position and give herself the opportunity to get both hands on that. But again, we're seeing really good pressure from the Stingrays on the dump movement. Just from that throw there, Preston able to put a lot of pressure on. And then throwing to a contested huck situation is something that, although disappointing, you don't bring down yourself. It's a situation that you're happy for an opponent to try and force time after time, because they're not going to bring every single one of those down.
Well, Katie Trim is quite the receiver to pick out. Connie Lynch with the throw. Had the pleasure of playing some mixed club ultimate with her in the past. Fantastic player. It was great to see her announced on this GB U24 women's squad. Very excited to see what she can do at the World Championships next week. So Stingrays have 3 points. 3 opportunities to put in the final point of the game. So not a completely impossible task for GB. It's certainly very difficult. Stingrays have been looking like the fitter team towards the end of this game for sure.
Some of the Australians have been over this part of the world for a week or two already. Some have only just arrived in the last 24 hours. So coming from the middle of an Australian winter, it's definitely a bit of an adjustment to acclimatise. But the Stingrays are looking like they've done a pretty good job of that so far.
So Della, water grab, Pigeon coming down with that high disc. Stingrays just tearing up the yards. Just a few meters away now. There's the shot to the end zone. Pigeon, after collecting the high disc earlier in the point, secures the disc in the end zone for the score. And Stingrays take the game 11-8 over GB.
Perfect way to finish. Clean hold on offense. Only their third clean possession out of their 9 on offense. So great way to finish the game. Wind really starting to pick up now, so it's perfect timing to be able to finish this one off.
And before we go, thank you all for joining the stream. We do just need to check your pronunciation on the number 6 player for Stingrays. What's her full name for us?
Panya Preston. I may have been informed that I've pronounced it with a bit of a bogan accent, so apologies for that, Panya, but I'm doing my best out here.
No, fantastic job. Thanks for joining me in the booth, Pat. So that's it for today's coverage. But, of course, we will be back 9 a.m. local time tomorrow morning for the conclusion of the tournament. Still a few more group games to be played before we show you the semi-finals and finals of this fantastic tournament. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Do let us know where you've been tuning in from in the chat. Remember to like the video, remember to subscribe, remember to check out our Patreon page. And until tomorrow, I've been Lou Burgess, joined by Pat Thorpe, and we will see you on the other side.
Don't be afraid, won't let you fall, girl. Don't be afraid, won't let you fall, girl.
Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ulti.TV